Most people can double, triple, or even 10x their income in the next 5 years. The problem is most people can't stay committed to the same thing past 5 months. But if you really want to have more money than you know how to spend, there are 3 things that you need to work on. And this is coming from somebody who did not grow up learning about money, who did not grow up learning about business, but has now built one of the largest and fastest growing financial technology and media companies on the planet called Briefs Finance. And I don't make this video from the shallowness of money, of just having money so you can spend. I'm making this video specifically because most people don't grow up learning about money. Most people are struggling with money, and the reality is it costs money to eat and it costs money to feed other people. If you want to take better care of yourself, your family, you want to put a roof over your head, you want to pay for your kids' college, you want to take care of your parents when they're sick, it costs money to do so, and most people are struggling, and financial problems are the leading causes of suicide and divorce. So, if you want to learn how you can actually have more money, there are 3 things you need to understand. And number 1 is focus on doubling your income, not your workload. I started my entrepreneurial journey a little over 15 years ago, and back then I thought that if you wanted to make more money, you just had to work harder. I started by working at weddings. I'd work at weddings on weekends, and now if I wanted to make more money, what I thought was, instead of finding out how I can increase how much money I'm making from the weddings, how about I do something else? So I started now an event planning company because I was working at weddings on Saturdays and Sundays, and I started hosting parties now on Thursdays and Fridays. I doubled my workload, that way I can make some more money. And yes, I was making some more money, but I'm working harder to make every additional dollar. And now I was getting tapped out because I'm working Thursdays and Fridays at my event planning company. I'm working Saturdays and Sundays and weddings, and I want to see how I can make some more money, that way I can keep growing what I'm doing. So I got into real estate. I got into flipping real estate. I got into selling real estate as a real estate salesperson. And so now on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is how can I sell real estate? How can I do these real estate transactions? And I'm constantly working to find new ways to make more money instead of figuring out how I can pull more money out of what I'm doing. Now, to be fair, I did start making more money. I started buying rental properties, but there was 2 problems. Problem number 1 was I was working all the time. If I slept 4 hours a night, that was considered a good night because I was working around the clock. And I didn't get a ton of time to hang out with my friends. Now, all of this was okay because I was in my early 20s, and when you're in college in your early 20s, you can do a lot of things that you can't do in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. But the second problem, and the bigger problem, was my focus was always at starting at 0. Because instead of trying to 10x the wedding business that I was working on, I decided to start back at 0 again with an event planning company. And then instead of trying to scale that, I started back at 0, going back into real estate. And instead of trying to scale that, I then started another thing. So I was constantly focused on the next thing because I was chasing this, what people call the shiny object of, maybe if I start this idea, if I work on this thing, it's going to help me scale my income, when in reality, if you can focus on what's working, you can double down and scale that much faster than trying to start something new. Taking a business from 0 to 1 is significantly more difficult than taking that business from 1 to 10. A rocket burns 80% of its fuel just getting off of the ground. But once it's off the ground into the atmosphere, now it's barely using its fuel because it's got that momentum. And this is where the mistake that I made was I was killing my momentum by starting again. And this is where you can do some simple math to see the power of this. Let's say you can take your business to $100,000 a year, and you can grow your business by just 15% a year, which really isn't anything crazy. That means you made $100,000 this year in your business. You work on getting a couple more sales next year. You sell $115,000 worth of stuff, and then $132,000 worth of stuff the year after that. Well, after 5 years, you just doubled your income to over $200,000 a year. Now, those numbers might sound very aggressive if you've never started a business before, or if you compare it to your investments in the stock market, but in the business world, it's really not that crazy. In fact, if you get even more aggressive in your business, you can see even faster growth. Take a look. If you make $100,000 a year and now you focus on really grinding to grow the business, and you can grow up by 55% a year, that means you made $100,000 this year. You made $155,000 the next year. You made $240,000 the year after that. After 5 years, you'll be making over $1 million a year. That's the power of compounding your income and compounding your knowledge to increase that income. But when you're constantly starting back at 0, you're killing that momentum, and you can never let that power of compound interest kick in. So the first thing you want to do is work on doubling your income, not your workload. The second thing you got to do is work your butt off and then build some systems. unfortunately, there's a lot of people on the internet that really preach this idea of how you can make a lot of money without putting in a lot of work. I have not found that to be the case. If you can find a way, let me know. But this is where most people get into the business of selling the idea of how you can build a lot of wealth without actually putting in a lot of work. But from my experience, it takes a lot of work. And most people just are not willing to do that. Most people want to get their 7 or 8 hours of sleep every single night. Most people want their Saturdays and Sundays off. Most people don't like the idea of having to work on Christmas or New Year's. And no, you don't have to do that for the rest of your life. But there are seasons and phases of your business career, especially of your wealth career. And in that first stage, when you're trying to kind of build that momentum and you're trying to take off, you're that rocket ship that needs to burn the fuel, that way you can get to the next level, you got to be willing to put in work. You got to be willing to outwork the people around you. And this is the part that most people are not willing to get through because they say, oh, I don't want to have to get up a couple hours earlier, but I need my sleep. Oh, I need to make sure I can have my time home in the evenings. I need to make sure I can have my weekends off. Well, the reality is, if you really want to get to where you want to go faster, one of the simplest, not easiest, but one of the simplest things that you can do is just put in more hours. And if you can put in an extra hour a day, that's an extra 7 hours a week. That's an extra 365 hours a year. That's more than 15 full days worth of time you just added by doing a little bit more work every single day. Now, again, the goal isn't for you to work your butt off for the rest of your life, because you want to be able to make some more money. That way you can ease off the throttle. But most people are never willing to get to the next step because they just want to cruise to get to level 2. But if you can work a little bit harder, you can get to level 2 a little bit quicker. And this is where you want to start building systems. Now, I'm not going to make a whole video about systems right now, but look into hiring virtual assistants. Look into hiring people to come work with you. Look into building tools with artificial intelligence, AI. That way you can systemize some of your workflow and not have to work so many hours, because in the beginning, you're going to have to do everything yourself because you're not going to have a whole bunch of money to hire people. You're going to need that money to start building. But then once you start making money, now you can start hiring people to do some of the work for you. And now you have less work, more free time, and you can work on the vision rather than the actual execution. So number 1 is focus on doubling your income, not your workload. Number 2 is work your butt off and then build some systems. Number 3 is know your why. My grandparents were some of the wealthiest people I know. And not in terms of money, but in terms of knowledge and life. They didn't grow up with a lot. In fact, they had less than that because they lost everything because they were refugees when our home state of Punjab was severed in 1947. So they lost their houses, they lost their family, they lost everything they had. They had to migrate to the new east side of Punjab, which is where my family is from, in India, and they had to restart life again. And I grew up with my grandparents. And one of the things that my grandfather used to tell me, one of the biggest lessons, is that poverty is one of the biggest diseases. And he would tell me this in our native language, Punjabi. And the reason why is because during that time, he would see hungry kids, starving kids, people that would die of hunger all around him. And what he would tell me is during that time that he had no money to feed himself. So he couldn't even think about feeding somebody else. And when you come from that level of poverty, where you have literally nothing. He didn't even have shoes on his feet because he lost his shoes on the migration. You start to look at money very differently, because in that stage of your life, you become desperate. And when you don't have money, you start doing things that are desperate. And this is where it is important to have money, because a lot of times we create these smoke screens around the idea of money. Oh, don't talk about money. Money is bad. Money is evil. Money is taboo. And trust me, I grew up hearing the exact same things, because in my culture, you don't talk openly about money. It's a very weird and kind of off-putting topic. But the reality is, you're going to work every single day to get paid. You go to school to get a degree so you can get paid. You need money to eat. You need money to feed your kids. You need money to feed other people. It costs money. And so if you can understand money, it's not just about being this money-hungry, greedy, show-offy, materialistic person. It's about having the ability to fulfill your basic needs, to have the ability to not have the financial stress, to have the ability to take care of your family, and to have the ability to give back. Now, yes, are there bad people with money? Absolutely. But the reality is money is not going to make you a good person. It's not going to make you a bad person. It's going to amplify who you are, which is why we need more good people with money. And no, money is not going to solve all your problems, but it will solve your money problems. It will make paying your mortgage easier. It will make paying your rent easier. It will make paying for the vacation easier. It will make paying off your debt a whole lot less stressful. It will make having money to invest easier. It will make quitting your job easier and finding a career that you actually love. That's what money can do. And this is where it is so important to understand how money plays a part in your life. Because growing up, I kept hearing, don't worry about money, don't talk about money, just become a doctor. So you want me to become a doctor because they're high paid earners, even though I don't want to be a doctor. And that's where things stopped really making sense, because in this traditional Indian culture, you tell your kids to become doctors because it's a high status job, it's a safe job, and it's a high income job. Well, what if you could do something that you enjoy, that gives you meaning, and can also produce that income? And this is where if you understand how money works, you can understand how money plays a part in your life, and then you can remove some of the money stress from your life. And this is where one of the things that I've created is what I call my quadruped theory, which is you have to understand how money plays a part in your life, because there are 4 fitnesses in life. You have to be physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, and financially fit. And it goes in this order. You need to be physically fit, because the reality is if you're morbidly obese, if you're on your deathbed, you don't care if you have $10 million in the bank. The only thing you want is to feel healthy again. When you are healthy, you can have a million desires, wishes, and wants. But when you're sick, you only have one want: to be healthy again. The next thing is to be mentally fit. And this means feeling happy and loved and supported. And that might mean you got to stop being around people that are constantly bringing you down and putting this toxicity in your life, because you want to be able to not feel trapped in a cage. You want to feel loved and supported and excited and happy. The third part is being spiritually fit. Now, this doesn't have to mean religious. This means, what is your purpose? What is your reason to wake up every single morning? You've probably heard the stories of millionaires and billionaires being depressed and unhappy. And you might say, well, how is that possible? You have all the money in the world. And the reason why is, if you don't have a reason to get out of bed, and now you actually become successful, you become a lot more miserable, because you no longer have a reason to get out of bed every morning. Money is a horrible motivator. Yeah, it might get you out of bed when you're first getting started and you want the Lamborghini, you want some cool stuff. But as soon as you see a little bit of success, now what? What's your motivator now? And this is where, when you're chasing money, it's a very shallow, it's a very hollow, it's a very empty thing to do. But having some sort of spiritual purpose, a reason why you do what you do, your why. What is your reason for wanting to get out of bed every morning? Well, now, when you have $10 million in the bank, you're still going to wake up excited, wanting to do something. Why do you think Warren Buffett used to get up in his 90s? I mean, he just retired, but he used to get up every day in his 90s and go into work when he's one of the richest people in the world. He didn't need more money. He loved what he did. Now, it doesn't have to be your business, but there has to be some sort of reason for you to want to do what you do. And at the very top is that financial fitness. That financial fitness is what allows you to remove the financial stresses of your life. It's not going to fix the physical problems in your life, although yes, it could buy you a better trainer and better food, but it's not going to change your mindset on your physical fitness. It's not going to fix the mental fitness in your life, although yes, it can get you a better therapist and better treatments, but it's not going to give you the motivation to want to do that, and it's not going to fix the spiritual part of your life, because, well, they're 2 different things. Now, sure, maybe money can give you the ability to travel and do things, but if you don't have a purpose, you're going to feel very shallow after a little while of doing that. And this is why you have to understand that it's not just about having the money, it's about having the purpose, because money is energy, it's fuel. It allows you to do the things that make you happy. And what makes you happy is what makes you happy. And the reality is, you're not going to make everybody happy. I co-founded a community service organization a number of years ago, and what we realized is you're never going to make everybody happy. And this is really, I thought I knew that from the internet, but it really hit me here, because we would do things like feeding the homeless. And then we would get a lot of negative feedback from people saying, why are you feeding the homeless? Why don't you do something that's actually going to create sustainable relief? Why don't you work on the drug problem? And then we would do things like a end of the year, because it's cold in Michigan, we're in Detroit, a end of the year drive, we would give people hats and gloves and other things like that, and then people would get so upset, but people are hungry during this time of year, how come we don't give them food? And we realize, well, we're just going to do what we want to do, and if people want to complain, let them complain, because they're sitting on their sofa and not doing anything productive while we're sitting here trying to make an impact. So understand that along the process, you're going to make some people very upset. Screw them. Do what you got to do. Okay? You can't make everybody happy. People are going to be upset no matter what you do. So you might as well give them a good reason to be upset. And by good reason, I mean something that you can actually stand by, something that you enjoy doing, something that you can feel proud of. And this is where now, when you stick with it and you follow these three things, number one, you focus on doubling the income, not just your workload. Then you work your butt off and then build some systems. And then you understand your why. This is where you can really start to become unstoppable, because now it's just a math problem. You are compounding what you're doing, and when you start to see that momentum, you can continue to compound it more and more. And then when things get hard, because they will get hard, there's no straight path to success for anybody. Everybody screws up. Everybody is going to lose money. Everybody's going to go through those hardships. But when you go through those hardships, your why is what's going to keep you going. And when those competitors start to show up, your hard work is going to allow you to outwork them and build the systems to beat them. And then that compounding effect of keeping the momentum going is what's going to allow you to scale. And this is where you're going to see the biggest impact. Now, if you got value out of this video, the best thank you is a referral. So if you could, please share this video with a friend, family member, colleague, or fellow investor, so you can continue spreading this type of financial education. And check out this outro music we just created.
The majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck with little to no investments and drowning in debt. And things are not going to magically get easier next year. But in the middle of all this chaos is opportunity. That opportunity is ability for you to grow your wealth even faster, assuming you don't fall into these 10 money traps that I'm going to show you in this video. So please watch this video until the end.